Whilst people are finding their chairs, I think a common theme actually to the presentations I've been sitting in is technology. In fact, everybody seems to be using the word technology in all of their presentations. And what Mercia has done successfully and will continue to do is backing those technologies that those larger companies will seek to integrate and monetize. And Mercia Technologies is all about picking winners in different technology sectors that we understand and moving those forwards to a trade sale basis. So over the next 15 minutes, what I'd like to do is give you really a flavour of Mercia Technologies and what we do and what we have done over the last 7 years, where we have quite successfully positioned ourselves as one of the leading national players in the creation, funding and development of high-growth technology businesses across the UK. But predominantly, actually, we invest in businesses based in the Midlands, the North and Scotland. And the reason why we chase those territories to invest in is that over half of these high-growth tech businesses we back are in those territories. About a quarter to a third of those are based in London, South East. But a majority of the investment capital is around the South East. And so what we have access to is fantastic deal flow and investment opportunities with limited competition for that. And what this has culminated in is in the successful AIM listing of Mercia in December last year, where we raised 70 million to continue to scale this business as we move forwards. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that business as we go forwards. Mercia is fortunate to have a board fully aligned, which we have assembled over the years, with the business plan that we have been and will continue to deliver. And these people include Ray Chamberlain, who chairs the board, a Midlands-based industrialist entrepreneur who has grown and sold and exited and listed a number of technology businesses. Susan Searle, who was the founder and until relatively recently the CEO of Imperial Innovations, one of the comparators, if you like, to Mercia Technologies, is on the board as vice chairman. Martin Lamb, who until recently, when he retired, was the CEO of IMI PLC, again a Midlands-based business, and he took that business into a FTSE 100 business very impressively, developing that business and repositioning it into a high-tech, high-engineering business. And finally, Ian Metcalfe, who was previously the managing director of RAGS, which is a very large legal firm operating nationally, again headquartered in the Midlands. And he provides a very important process in terms of corporate governance, of course, around the business. But as with most of our, in fact, all of our members of the management team and board, also actively supports our portfolio companies. And you'll see how that works in a moment as I start to talk about the portfolio. So just in regard to the business model, if you like, that Mercia operates. So you know that we focus nationally with those focus on territories in the Midlands, the North, Scotland. But also what we look at are businesses across key technology sectors, and I'll talk about those in a moment, where we've built up members of our investment team. And it's been very important to us. The members of our investment team have all grown and exited businesses first and gone into investment second, which is an absolute key differentiator for something we've done at Mercia, where what we want is an ability to drive, accelerate the growth of these businesses to sell them on. And so we look for individuals who have done that and have a track record of doing that. We also look for businesses with very modest capital needs. So these businesses typically from first investment through to exit have something like 1 to 10 million per business investment. So we are not looking for the behemoths, the $1 billion companies that often you see VCs talking about filling their portfolio with. We're much more pragmatic in the fact that a majority of the businesses in the UK are sold for between 20 million and 200 million. So we look for businesses that sit within that. And how we've built this model over time and what we do is we actually have two parts to our business. So on the one side, we have Mercia Fund Management, which is FCA authorised, and it's a wholly owned subsidiary of Mercia Technologies. And Mercia Fund Management has £22 million worth of third-party funds under management, and those funds derive from private investor capital. And that capital is what is termed as legitimate tax-efficient capital. These are EIS, CDIS funds, where the private investors are getting between 30 and 50% of their investment back instantly as income tax relief. So what we're doing is we have an ability then to invest, not institutional capital that we raised in December, but private investors' capital who are rewarded for taking an early stage risk by the tax consequences that they get for that. And more importantly, the investors get a loss relief. So in the event of a failed investment, they actually get 22% of their investment back as a tax relief. And what that means is that we can very, very strictly focus on what we call emerging stars, but also fail the businesses that just didn't work. So that we have a method of failing fast and moving resource, which is people and capital, to emerging stars. We move those businesses over a period of time, and then they become direct investment, and that is at the point where we move our institutional capital to invest in those businesses and scale those businesses. And that's an important differentiator that we offer. And when we make those direct investments, those businesses that we're investing in could be anything from 2 to 12 years old, and you'll see some examples of that, which means that our institutional capital is going to businesses that we understand, are progressing on a commercial basis, and we are then scaling through. About half of the investments we've made derived from university businesses, from university sources, and I will again talk about that in a little bit further. And we get something like 50 to 70 business plans from the universities, from our networks, accelerators, and direct approaches per month. So deal flow is not short for us. The ability to pick those winners and accelerate them is the challenge that most businesses such as ours have, and we believe we've cracked that. The other thing that we do is, of course, half of our deals are not from university sources. And in particular, we do digital. And digital does not traditionally play to the strengths of universities, but the UK economy is the second driver to the UK economy is the digital sector, and pretty much underserved by the investment community. And one of the things we did when we made the move into digital is we employed a gentleman called Mike Hayes, who is the previous CEO of Sega Games, and some of you may know about Sega. And what he did is he came to, just our other investment directors, they came to with subsectors within the sectors we invest in that we see as opportunities to get into and invest early. And the sectors that we invest across are at the bottom there, which we've built up over time and are our strict focus. So advanced materials, engineering, specialist manufacturing, digital, which is quite a broad church, includes fintech, e-commerce, gaming, gamification, etc. And we'll see some examples of that in a moment. Electronics and hardware, and life sciences, but specifically within life sciences, medtech, diagnostic services, so not capital-intensive therapeutic plays, for instance. Just want to spend a minute or two on this slide, because this is an important slide as it brings out the Mercia model. So the top two bars, if you like, Mercia Fund Management. So just to recall, that's the wholly owned subsidiary of Mercia Technologies. That's the FCA-authorised fund management business that is deploying this tax-efficient capital from proof of concept, pathfinder, seed, and onwards. And onwards, what that means is we're into revenue, commercial interaction or significant revenue generation before we then make an investment through Mercia Technologies and scale that opportunity quickly. So this is ability about picking winners, picking emerging stars, and then focusing the institutional capital on scaling those businesses to an end point, which predominantly will be a trade sale for us. We have 9 university partners, which we are listed there. And as I said, 50% of the investments we have made have come from those university partners. We treat them more on a collegiate basis rather than a one-by-one interaction. So our universities come together. We have regular meetings with the universities. We review the projects and technologies coming through those universities. We use key academics within those to help us with other deal flow. And that has been extremely important, accessing that expertise to help us make analysis of the deal flow that we're looking at. We run business plan competitions nationally and through the universities across the sectors that we invest in, again, so we can keep close to what is going on in the industries and sectors that we back. This is quite important. These 2 pie charts at the bottom are quite important, really, because they sort of reflect what I've just been talking about. So on the left, you can see the sector breakdown. So I talked about the 4 sectors that we invest across. It's very important for us to maintain that balance, that portfolio balance against how we invest across. So you can see we're not heavily dependent in any one sector there. We make that nice balance across the sectors. And this is because technology is a cyclical creature as well. And one sector may look good in one year, but a few years later it may go out of favour. So that balance is very key in not being overweighted in any one place. The other thing, of course, is the balance in terms of stage of development that we're investing in. What you can see here, you've got early stage revenues, pre-revenue moving through, and actually, what have we got there? 17% of our businesses are actually profitable. So although with Mercia Fund Management we're going into pre-revenue businesses, what we are doing is we are very revenue focused in the type of creatures that we back and support, and we get dividends, etc., from some of those portfolio companies as well. And I'll talk about 1 or 2 of those in a moment. This reflects that balance that we do in terms of the balance of the portfolio, in terms of the type of businesses we're backing and the revenue growth going up. This is a snapshot from the Mercia Fund Management third-party funds portfolio, but what the red circles just indicate are the emerging stars that we have backed and supported, either because they've hit that revenue growth, the top line of businesses are growing in that regard, or actually they've made some significant commercial interaction, some kind of B2B relationship that is then worth supporting on a direct investment basis. And that's a very key slide, and I think these slides will be available anyway. So I've got just a few examples in the last 5 minutes of businesses that Mercia have supported over time. So Science Warehouse is a Leeds University spin-out. It's a business where, if you like, procurement and eBay are bashed together on an online platform. And what this is it really meets into sort of universities, large institutions, corporates, where buying behaviour of the individuals, the employees, is difficult to control, and you have often procured solutions on a cost-effective basis that individuals are not adhering to. So to put that into context, for instance, they're with Cambridge University. So you're an academic, you're a technician, you're a researcher, you go onto a white-labelled purchasing platform within the university, you buy from a variety of suppliers that have already been procured, so the university is keeping you to that cost saving. As far as you're concerned, you can buy from a multitude of different suppliers from one process. So it's a simple way of you buying product. The university controls what's going on, can see what's going on, and the procured relationship is put into place. Science Warehouse takes its turn, if you like, on a percentage of the turnover from the suppliers trading through the platform. And that's a very nice scaling business and is progressing very quickly. And as you see, it's turning over in excess of 3 million, and we took just under 1 million of profit out of that business last year. Just to also emphasize here, which is an important box, is we have 45% holding of that business. And as you'll see with some of these, what we have is the holding that we have directly from what we've invested, and then a combined holding, which is from our third-party funds as well as our direct investment. And that's quite an important thing to note, because how we've set up legals and our relationships with our investments is that we can make a transition from third-party funds to direct investments because we have permitted transfers, etc. within that. And what that means is not only can we invest in those businesses through a preemption basis, we have an agreement with our private investors. If they want to sell out their position at discount, we can buy it out. And what that means is not only do we invest directly into those businesses, we can go out horizontally by acquiring the positions within our third-party funds as well. So we have a very nice integrated model of third-party fund provision and direct investment. So I talked about Mike Hayes from Sega. One of the investment opportunities that he was saying is virtual reality. And if you've got children in the room, you're about to spend a lot of money in this stuff. I've already had to part with cash. One of the advantages of doing my job is I get to see early technologies. Disadvantages, I have to buy these things very high and expensive for my own children. So at home, we have a virtual reality Oculus headset with the nDream software running on it, and my entire family just loves it. So what this is you've got headset developers, you've got Oculus, Samsung, Sony, Microsoft, bringing headsets that are games, gamification, they're in the workplace, they're all over the place. It's forecasted within 2 years to be a $4 billion market. nDreams develops a lot of the software and the experiences, gaming and gamification side of this. And we did an investment through our third-party funds, and then following those partnerships with pretty key, well-known individuals there, and companies there, we then did a direct investment into nDreams. And this is a very exciting area that will boom and is hitting us already. This is a University of Warwick spin-out. So they're developing speaker systems, which are basically this thick. They're foil-based. They look foil-based. In terms of their production, their cost of goods is a fraction of the price of a normal speaker. They use a fraction of the energy of a normal speaker. They weigh next to nothing. These are going into sound bars in TVs. They're going into the linings of cars. So you finally have music where your ears are rather than where your feet are, for instance. So this is a business where we have been investing through our third-party funds since 2007. But we made our direct investment through our institutional capital just last year, and we'll continue to support this business because now it's started making negotiations. It's starting to have negotiations with OEMs to start bringing this product through. So again, we have a direct holding of circa 30% and a combined across ours of just over 30%. Derek Mottershead, the ex-CEO of Bang & Olufsen, is the chairman for this business. What's very key for us is to put key management, key board members into these businesses to further accelerate the growth of those businesses. And the last example of the business I want to talk about is Smart Antenna. Colin Tucker is the chairman of this business. Colin Tucker is the ex-founder, CEO, and CTO of Orange and 3, so I'm sure you've heard of those. And he's the chairman of this business. University of Birmingham spin-out. So we've all got phones, which I know we've all turned off. So in here, you've got 6, 7 aerials, wireless, Bluetooth, 3G, etc. What they've done is they've managed to combine that into one aerial. It goes in the corner, it's a chip-controlled, receives and transmits. What that is it saves what they call retail space within your phone, because it's just in one area now, significantly less power consumption, and cost of goods is markedly reduced. So very exciting business. Again, you can see we've got a combined and a direct, so we'd invested through our third-party funds. They started working on an NRE contract to integrate this technology into a tablet computer, which triggered us making a direct investment into Smart Antenna. So just in summary, what Mercia really represents is an ability for investors to access underlying technology businesses in high growth, highly exciting and highly saleable opportunities. We're able to pick those opportunities and nurture them through Mercia Fund Management as we move them forward to direct investing. And that model then balances risk, if you like, and reward as you're moving along that sort of risk-reward scale. The differentiated model is that flexible sourcing in terms of university-derived opportunities as well as accelerators, incubators, direct approaches, etc. And the third-party funds, as I said, gives us that opportunity on a preemption right and a transfer basis to pick those emerging stars and also acquire the third-party interest if there's a willing seller within that fund. The fail-fast policy is very important and is something, as an owner, I've actually run and managed and sold 2 or 3 of my own businesses, is I've watched VCs keep businesses alive when they shouldn't have done. And here we have an opportunity, our third-party funds, to fail fast and focus on those emerging stars and scale them rapidly. And what we have finally with Mercia, since its successful listing in December, is the ability to further scale this business and for Mercia to fulfill its ambition of being one of the dominant investment businesses in the UK. Thank you very much for your time.